Hi folks, welcome to episode 16 of I Don't Want to Hold Your Hand, the Beatles Quarantine catalog, where I am attempting to play all 248 Beatles songs in chronological order while we are all stuck inside. Before we get into today's song, I am on YouTube, I am on Instagram, I am on Venmo, if you would like to subscribe, follow, or support the series. A big shout out to everybody who's been reaching out with their kind messages and whatnot. I'm enjoying putting these together. Probably as much as you are watching them. So let's get to work. Last episode we covered Please Please Me, which was the A side of the Beatles' second single. So today, of course, we are on the B side with a little tune called Ask Me Why. Ask Me Why was first recorded by the Beatles on June 6th at their audition for EMI. That was the day that Pete Best was still with them. Now, today it's November 26th. The Beatles have just devoted a majority of the day to perfecting Please Please Me, and now they have time to tackle their B-side. And so they pick a song that they've played many times in their live shows, something that won't take too many takes to get. And so in just 6 takes, Ask Me Why comes together pretty quickly. While this tune is, of course, credited to Lennon McCartney, this is definitely a John song. Early in John's career, he was very inspired by Smokey Robinson. In particular, Smokey Robinson has a song from 1961 called What's So Good About Goodbye? And it has an intro that directly inspires the intro to Ask Me Why. This is the Smokey Robinson intro. It goes a little something like, what's so good about goodbye? Something like that. And so if you know Ask Me Why, it of course has the intro of, and so it's a little touch, but that is where we get the beginning of Ask Me Why. Once the Beatles wrapped up Ask Me Why, they had enough time to do a third song, so they recorded a song that John and Paul were working on called Tip of My Tongue. The recording did not survive, so we have no idea what this take sounded like, but regardless, it wasn't good enough, so they scrapped it and ended up giving Tip of My Tongue to a young artist called Tommy Quickly. So when Tommy Quickly records this tune, we will tackle it in another video. Things to listen for in this song. Not much to talk about in the way of lyrics. It's not a very heavy lyric song. This song is all about the chords. 2 things happen for the first time in the Beatles catalog in Ask Me Why. One of them is the first time that the Beatles use a little trick that they will use a couple more times, and it's these chords. They really enjoy using that in the beginning of their career, so it'll appear a couple more times, and I'll, of course, point them out when we get there. The other chord that appears in this song for the first time is an augmented chord. Now, I don't know if it's just because the Beatles are getting creative, or they're learning new chords, or their producer, George Martin, who is a very educated musician and knows music theory, unlike the Beatles, if he's starting to make suggestions. But for some reason, in Ask Me Why, the Beatles abandon a trick they've been doing up to this point, and they add an augmented chord. So up to now, when the Beatles want to go to a bridge, they will play a 7 chord. And so it would sound like this. I'll do anything for you, anything you want me to, if you'll be true to me. I'll do. So when you get back to the root chord of a song after the chorus, just throw a 7 on it, and it takes you to a new piece of music. Today, they're going to use an augmented chord, and it's going to sound a little something like this. I can't believe. So it's just a little different. It gives Ask Me Why its own flavor, and it has this great stepwise motion heading into the bridge. Really great. It sounds just different enough. The Beatles are definitely getting creative. Augmented chords are in the catalog. Another part of Ask Me Why that I absolutely love are the chords in the second half of the verse. So your ear gets used to hearing this G sharp minor 7 chord. And you hear it multiple times until that I know that suddenly it's a major 7 chord, and then it takes us to C sharp minor. It's just a surprise to the ear. One of the best payoffs in the song. Last thing to listen for is just the overall feel of the song. The harmonies are beautiful. The guitar playing has lots of flourish to it. the backup sing "Ask Me Why," which is just gives a whole nother flavor to the song, and then it has a nice cool ending to it. It's just overall the song has its own feel to it. This song is all about the music. So folks, next time we see each other, it will be February 11th, 1963. The Beatles will be back at EMI Studios to record the rest of their debut album, Please Please Me. The Beatles will record the remaining 10 songs in one marathon day, and of course we will do each one of them, but in the order in which they recorded them on that day. And being that this is the last song of 1962, I do want to point out that in the year 1962, the Beatles only made 6 major recordings that we have covered in this series. And in 1963, they will record 35. So we have a lot of music to cover. So folks, please sit back and relax and enjoy Beatles song number 16, Ask Me Why.